Thank you for taking a few minutes today to learn more about Paws in Jobland, a career exploration resource from CFNC. My name is Mark Wiles. I'll be walking you through some of the key areas of Paws in Jobland today. I'm with the University of North Carolina System Office, which is one of the collaborators in CFNC. You can see here in this diagram the many collaborators that are behind College Foundation of North Carolina, all of North Carolina's education community, to promote access to higher education for North Carolinians. Now, I wanted to share this with you just to give you the view, the high-level view of the career resources on CFNC for different audiences. So you'll see elementary, middle school, high school, college, and adult. Now, today we're going to be focusing just on Paws in Jobland, but you'll see for middle school, Choices Explorer is the tool that is tailored for that audience. And then the Plan for a Career section of the main CFNC.org site is the area that is targeted for high school and above. One of the questions we often are asked by educators is about the career assessments and which are available for the different audiences. You'll see this quick glance diagram of the 13 career assessments available by audience. And you'll notice, for instance, in the high school category, more than someone in the college or adult category. So that means if a student has a CFNC.org account where they have identified themselves as a high school student, they will have access to some different career assessments than would a user who has identified themselves as a college or adult user. So let's move forward with Paws in Jobland, and you'll see the job finder as we step forward. Let's take a look at the four main sections, and we'll begin with Jobland, where Paws is this dog which takes students to a town named Jobland. The buildings there on the map represent each of the 16 national career clusters. In the quiz section, students have the opportunity to answer questions about different careers and earn the opportunity to complete a puzzle picture. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. In the Job Finder section, this is the career assessment that I mentioned a moment ago. Students here have the opportunity to answer 26 questions about their interests, and then the map of Jobland is highlighted so that certain buildings stand out as suggestions for students to explore those career clusters. And lastly, the ABC Search provides an alphabetical list of the more than 100 careers featured in Paws and Jobland. So that is a high-level overview. Let's move ahead now to the online resource, and as we begin that, I want to point out a few things. So here, from the homepage of CFNC.org, you'll see a link to Paws in Jobland. Now, another key thing that I should point out at the outset is this choice, a very simple one, but there are some things to consider here. The choice is sound to be turned on or off. The advantages of sound being turned on are, first, that Paws and the people in various careers actually talk to the student. So it gives it a sense of realism. And sometimes Paws even talks back and forth with the person in the specific career. The second advantage is that Paws speaks his instructions. So he serves as a guide to the students. Now, the advantages of having sound turned off are that, one, all the words Paws speaks are on the screen. So this addresses accessibility for hearing impairments, and it's also helpful for students whose comprehension improves with reading rather than just listening. Another advantage to having the sound turned off is that it allows you to avoid too much noise, for instance, in a large classroom environment. So I would encourage you to try it out and see what you think is best for your use case. For today, I'm going to choose no sound, and whenever this animation comes up, you can click and fast forward through it. So here we arrive at the screen that I mentioned to you earlier that shows the four main sections of Paws in Jobland, and we can see that because we have sound turned off, we can read all of Paws' instructions. So he has just spoken that, and if I click on the hand, I can move forward. And he's actually now given me a tour of each of the 4 sections. So he just mentioned Jobland, now Job Finder, here the ABC search, and then lastly, the quiz. He also mentions navigation. So when you click on the doghouse, that enables you to exit the tool, and also if you are in one of the 4 sections, it allows you to go back to the main menu. You'll see that in just a moment. As we begin, let's go with Jobland. Here, Paws comes on the screen again, provides an orientation to Jobland, and encourages students to choose a place, then a job. So let's take a look at what this is like. I'm going to go over to Finance, and each of the career clusters, there are the 16 national career clusters represented here. Each of them has a handful of careers highlighted. I'm going to choose stockbroker in this case. Typically, it starts with Paws, giving a few details, and he might start a dialogue with the person in the profession, and then it shifts over to the person in that profession. And in the next few screens, it's usually 3 to 5, the person in the profession shares photographs, and then the text on the screen describes some of their work. At the end, students have the opportunity to print a few details. So let's choose yes, and this helps when the sheets come off at the printer. You can enter your name, and it is going to use the browser default interface for printing. So here I have the opportunity to print it to a PDF, or I can change it and specify a local printer. I'm going to cancel. So I can go back to where I was, or if I wanted to, I can click here and go to the main menu. Let's go back to Jobland, and I'll go back one more time. Let's choose another one. Let's choose here architecture and construction and see what we find. Some more careers listed here. I'm going to choose, let's say carpenter. Once again, Pause starts, and then the focus turns to the person or people actually in the different careers. This time I'm going to say that I don't need to print, and I'll go back to Jobland. So I would encourage you to explore. It is interesting as you look at the town, you might not initially think that all 16 clusters are represented, but they are. You just have to spend some time rolling over each. Some are a little more hidden. You might just have to spend some time rolling over these, and you can locate the different clusters. All right, let's go back to the main menu now. I'll click on the doghouse. Let's move now to the Job Finder. Here, students have 26 questions presented to them, and Pause gives initial instructions. After that, they can begin answering and navigate with the hands below. So I'm going to take just a moment. I'll fast forward this so you don't have to watch me click on all of the answers. We'll look at the results in just a second. So here I am on the last question, and after I answer that one and click forward, I am brought back to Jobland, but this time you'll notice that several buildings, several career clusters are highlighted for me as suggestions based upon my interests expressed in the Job Finder for me to explore. So I'll click here on hospitality and tourism recommended for me. Again, we'll see the different professions on the right. Let's go back now to the main menu. That was the Job Finder. Let's go over to the quiz. I can answer questions about different careers, and as I answer them correctly, I'll be given a small photograph that is part of the puzzle. So I can look here and think that this person might be an editor. That was correct. So I have one piece of the puzzle. A window dresser works in a shop. I'm going to say right. Where does a firefighter work? So you'll notice this is one of the questions where it gives pictures from Jobland of the buildings that are tied to career clusters. In this case, it's fairly easy because I see a fire truck in this building, and I'll choose that. I'll answer this one incorrectly. Let's see what happens. There we go. So I do get the correct answer. And I'm going to fast forward now as I answer the other questions. Then to put together the puzzle picture, I click on the photograph that I want to move, in this case, the lower right, and I choose the place that I think it belongs. So if I want to move it there, I'll click it there. Okay, so now I have completed the puzzle picture. It shows that I have succeeded, and it asks if I want to play again. So I'm going to say no thanks. And this leads me to the last section that I wanted to show you today, the simple search functionality. So here, Paws tells me what I can do. I can search by clicking on letters of the alphabet, or I can scroll up and down. If I click on one of these, then it brings me back to the same career highlight or profile that we looked at earlier. So there are multiple ways that a student could choose to get to these profiles. All right, we'll go back to the main menu, and I look forward to hearing how your students enjoy Paws and Jobland and maybe some ideas you have for us. Before we go today, I would like to go over to the main CFNC.org site to highlight some lesson plans that are available for you and some worksheets for the students. So I'm going to click on Resources and Videos, and then more specifically, Paws in Jobland lesson plans. Several things to point out. There are two main categories of lesson plans and worksheets, one for K2, the other for 3 through 5. For K2, they are all consolidated in one PDF that you could download and print out separate pages. As you scroll through, you'll see what a lesson plan looks like, and then the accompanying worksheet. For the lesson plans applicable to grades 3 through 5, you could choose to have your download all in one large document or one at a time. So for instance, I'm going to click on Lesson 7. This one I think is interesting because it invites students to think about themselves in a particular profession for a day and to write what they think that day would be like. So a great writing exercise, as well as one that seeks to have them think about different professions. And then lastly, I'll point out the Paws activity book, 20 pages here. You can see different activities for coloring, unscramble the words, and here's a career word search. Well, thank you for watching today. I would encourage you to send your questions and suggestions to us. We always appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number, 866-866-2362. You can choose option 1 to speak to a member of the team that focuses on career resources. Or if you would prefer to email us, we look forward to hearing from you at questions@cfncresources.org. Thank you, and have a great day.